Welcome to Bets on the Future, where we highlight the various career paths in the electrifying metals world. From the vehicle you ride in to the bridge holding it up, metals are everywhere. Why not in your career too? I'm Jennifer Betts, a metals industry veteran with almost 20 years experience, here to highlight these incredible career paths as told by the women who are living them. On this episode of Bets on the Future, we have an incredible guest. Becky Berube has served the recycling community for over 30 years. Based in Greenville, South Carolina, as president of United Catalyst Corporation, she writes a monthly educational column for the industry and serves on several ARA and REMA committees. She is newly appointed advisor on the U.S. Industry Trade Advisory Committee on Critical Minerals. She was a recipient of a 2023 South Carolina Women in Business Award and is a mentor in the Women in PGMs program. Additionally, Becky serves as an at-large director of the REMA Southeast Board, co-chair of the IPMI Preventing Auto Catalyst Theft Committee, and is on the executive committee of the International Precious Metals Institute, IPMI, where she is a past president. As you can see, or if you're listening, you probably can pick up some background noise because this is a special edition of Bets on the Future because, spoiler alert, we are live and in person at ISRI 2024. And again, spoiler alert, that is going to be a vintage name in 24 hours.
It is.
The Institute of Scrap Recycling Industries will be no more. It will be something else.
Something none of us know.
Exactly. And I have a very special guest. Becky Berube is with the United Catalyst Corporation, president of that organization, that company, and I am beyond thrilled that you spared a few moments in this obviously very busy conference season. So thank you so much for joining.
Thank you for having me, Jennifer. It's my pleasure.
I want to get into a little bit about what you do, but first I'm just kind of curious. I mean, catalysts are not exactly a very talked about part of the metals industry.
Sure.
Do you mind just talking a little bit about where your particular company fits into the metals world?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. The platinum group metals, which are what is inside of the catalytic converters. A lot of people hear about catalytic converters for the wrong reasons.
Yes.
But for 33 years, we've been recovering precious metals from auto parts and the right way. And so it's really funny, but most of the world's supply of platinum group metals comes from mining, and about 1/3 comes from recycling. And that's the part that we've been involved in for 33 years. We co-founded the company. I was 24 years old. And there were not a lot of women at ISRI that were involved in our part of the supply chain. But by 2040, there are so many vehicles coming off of the road that it's actually the supply of precious metals from recycle is going to become 2/3 recycle, 1/3 mining.
That's huge.
And ISRI members produce most of the world's supply of recycled cars and catalytic. I mean, the automobile is the most recycled consumer good in the world.
Really?
Yes.
I did not realize that.
I know you might think paper or plastic, but the automobile is the most recycled consumer good in the world.
Well, that would explain why PGMs, the platinum group metals, is obviously something that is talked about frequently.
Yes.
And hence the catalytic converters are often talked about, again, for the wrong reasons. But it's really wonderful to hear that the shifting from the mining of those metals is going to be shifting into the recycling on the majority side of the industry.
And one of the reasons why it's so important, Jennifer, is because it has a negative carbon footprint, which is really interesting. There's nothing against mining. We love our mining friends, but this is above ground natural resources that our country has in abundance. And these metals are found in like everything from our electronics to our automobile catalyst to pharmaceutical and applications and things that save lives and cancer research and things like that. So it's really wild, and metal is infinitely recyclable, as we all know. Yes. That's a good little soundbite. But the precious metals being carbon negative, like the catalytic converter, it's above ground natural resources of critical minerals that the country is really needing for its economy as well as national defense. So very, very important.
You mentioned that you co-founded this company
I
at
did.
24.
I did.
I remember what I was doing at 24. Mm-hmm. It was not co-founding companies. I mean, I wasn't really even, to be frank, aware of PGMs at 24. I mean, I was trading scrap metal / recycled materials,
sure, which is cool in and of itself.
Yes, but you know, how did this get on your radar?
Yeah, it's kind of wild. No, I think it's very cool that you were trading ferrous, non-ferrous, or whatever in your 20s. I mean, when I got here at 24, there weren't a lot of women in the room, and it's wild to walk around today to see Robin leading the organization, to see all the women, you know, everyone, Brandy, Needy, all of us that kind of run in circles together. It's just wild. But yeah, I was a portfolio accountant. I'm from Massachusetts, and I worked in Boston, and I was with Putnam Investments, and my husband was going to be an architect.
Oh, wow.
And
Okay.
we were newly married, and he was not finished his degree, and his dad laid him off. He owned a muffler shop, his dad, in Massachusetts. He said, but I found you this great job driving for this company that collects catalytic converters. And in a strange turn of events, that company closed. And Tim happened to be the #1 driver for that company in the United States in a very short time. And I think they told him he could work as many hours as he wanted and they'd pay him. And as a newlywed, he thought, really? That's
Okay.
great.
I mean,
that's great. I'm trying to provide for a family, so it's good, you know, for me. And but they closed, and they wanted him to go to another state, so drive all week long, and then go down to Pittsburgh and bring all this material. And he said that is just too long to be away from home. And so that was it. He said no thanks, and we went out and started our company.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
And so
pretty
eventually I transitioned from mutual fund, you know, from financial sector to helping. I always had a fiduciary role, but I eventually, and to be honest, I didn't think it was very cool, and I'm not sure I really wanted to do it. But
Okay.
over the past 33 years, it's become much cooler and has really evolved into my life and my career, my life's work, right?
I've
Precious metals and recycling.
Right. Has the company always been in its current location?
No, we started in New England. We started in Massachusetts. We had a facility in Providence, Rhode Island, near Federal Hill, which we really love the food, and that was
Very
great.
nice.
And a lot of people like to visit. But we started doing a lot of business east of the Mississippi and south. And we said, why don't we open another location in the southeast? And my husband, you know, we're local people. He said, let me go give you the life you always wanted in the south. And I was like, all right.
Yeah.
I think our parents thought it would take a year to transition. We were gone in 3 months.
Wow.
Sadly, with their grandchildren. They were
Oops.
3, 5, and 7, and now you see Cole today working
Yeah.
in our company. He's 25
Yeah.
and leads technology. So
Yes.
yeah, it's wild.
It's pretty cool. I've had the good fortune of being able to tour your facility.
Oh, thank you. That's right.
Last year, I was in town for an
Circularity.
Israel- yes,
Yeah.
the Circularity Conference, and I've seen a lot of facilities in my day, and your facility was impressive. I mean, not a piece of dust anywhere.
That would be somebody's money on the. If the dust is on the ground, somebody's money's on the ground.
That dust is so expensive if it was anywhere. It was very impressive, and I think what struck me the most about it was the technology that you have obviously put into it. I mean, you just referenced your son and the technology aspect of it.
Yeah.
I know that there's been some investment that you've been putting into it as well.
Sure.
Again, I've had the good fortune of seeing some of what you've been working on lately. Do you mind sharing a little bit about the
No, I think, thanks for asking.
Yes, I mean, it's been cool.
But
It's
we
just
do
great.
try to run it like Michigan, like it's a plant, right? It's a disassembly facility, and so you know we disassemble the catalyst, we mill it, we have laboratories, that type of thing. But I think what's really cool is you take this industrial business where you've got this green metal now coming out, where OEMs are going to get carbon credits for using recycled metal versus mined metal. And we had a vision to bring recovery, a basis of selling to the scrap industry based on recovery, because that's the only way a catalytic converter gets paid for or delivered back into the market is to destroy it and recover the platinum, palladium, and rhodium. So we disrupted. We did that about 12 or 13 years ago. We made this model called Assay, selling on recovery, available to all of the scrap industry, you know, the recycling industry. And then that was 12 years ago, and everyone followed suit. And then the next disruptor for us was how could we map year, make, model, and VIN with the serial number on the can and give people the most accurate assay-based vehicle identification, VIN to converter database, so that they could run their businesses legitimately, profitably, eliminate risk when they're buying vehicles. So we are excited. We have just released our VIN, like a bidding tool, so that people can put in a VIN and see how many units are on, catalytic converters are on there, what their value is in recovery, and they can also do serial numbers. It's wild. People say it's changing the game, and that makes me really excited.
It's been really cool to see, and
and that's all Cole and his team. The next generation takes it to a whole new level. So I can't take all the credit.
They've really been building upon what you've built, right? It's and let me step back for a second, because the people that listen to this podcast are across the full metal supply chain. And yes, because we are at a recycling event, and there will probably be several podcasts in a row that are heavily recycling experts like yourself. They may not be aware that catalytic converters come in a variety of recoveries, and that there might be on a Toyota Camry a slightly different makeup, essentially, of those PGMs than, say, a BMW, right?
Very true.
And so it makes it very challenging for consumers like yourself, or even for people that are auto recyclers, to accurately purchase vehicles when it's end of life, to factor in all the components from the steel, the aluminum, to the catalytic converters, to everything, because they're all different commodities.
Yep,
right?
Very true.
So what you're providing these customers of yours to be able, especially the VIN, the accuracy of
the engine displacement,
it's
different on two different BMWs, X5s, and it's a perfect example. There is software out there today that will help people buying scrap, help people buying recycle end-of-life vehicles. They can probably get to 60, 70, 80% of the vehicle's value on parts, but the catalytic converter has remained an enigma, right? It's the unknown. They put it in their fluff number, and then they just hope that they're not upside down on bidding on the car, or the catalytic converters might be missing, or there might be aftermarkets. But yeah, like for example, you can take an X5 BMW with different, made different times, different years, and you could have $300 worth of catalytic converters on there, or $700 worth of catalytic converters on there. And if you don't have that VIN with that engine displacement, and it hasn't been mapped properly, then you're gonna think you have $700 worth of cats on there, and you could pay an extra $500 for that car, but you may only have $300 of converters, and now you're $200 upside down. So we're trying to mitigate risk, as well as help people be successful at getting back into buying converters safely, responsibly. Responsible sourcing is a huge, as you can imagine, responsible sourcing is a huge issue in our industry with converter theft.
Well, and so I was talking to your son last night, actually, at the Young Executives reception. And what I didn't realize is that you are also providing this software, or maybe not necessarily this software, but you can help clarify, with law enforcement as well.
So yeah, we think that the platform that we've built could be commoditized. Any commodity could use the platform that we've built. And we also think it has a great application for law enforcement. Because if we're tracing your make, model, VIN, and they can, and law enforcement can have that database and put in that VIN, run that car, and see exactly what those converters should be and how many, and then they show up somewhere down the supply chain, and we can match them back for them, we'd be happy to help. And I don't think there's any recycler, that's part of ISRI or any other organization, Automotive Recyclers or United Recyclers, that wouldn't want to help law enforcement. Because we want to be tough on crime, but we want to be pro-trade. You don't want to landfill your nation's critical minerals, you wouldn't want to take all these wonderful resources and say they have to stop being traded.
No.
They can't be recovered.
No.
So we want to be tough on crime.
100%.
And on criminals.
It's been a tough subject that I'm sure you've had to navigate for years. And when I visited your plant, it was very impressive, and it's just something that it showed what a just misconception our industry gets. It's a company that obviously contributes to the economy. You provide jobs. It's contributing to the environment, making sure that you're pushing towards more recycled content into our supply chain. And so it's wonderful to hear that you're also pushing the technology factor, because our industry is a little
delayed.
Yep. On
Not everyone. There's some great technology.
Yes.
I mean, just walk around.
Yes.
But technology is becoming the game changer, right?
Yes.
And Todd Forsman is doing a great job with ISRI and law enforcement. And we've had law enforcement in the Carolinas come visit us. And you can really change their perception about our whole industry, about recycling. When they see that we do business partner screenings, that we do know your customer protocols, that we follow anti-money laundering, FinCEN's best practices, things like that, Patriot Act stuff. We're only doing business with businesses that pass our compliance. And there's competitors that, friendly competitors that actually have wonderful compliance departments, and they're doing a great job. We do not want to do business. We want to do business with reputable companies, and we're very much a B2B industry, right? Business to business. But technology is key, and it can help eliminate so many of the pain points.
It really
businesses.
can.
Yeah.
So when you're starting out at 24, did you see the business going to where it is today?
No, but the vision has grown. Like I said, I didn't love it. It was a little lonely and weird and not very fun, and it was dirty. You know what I mean? Like, it's so nice to hear you talk about our plant, because I do think we have one of the most beautiful disassembly facilities in our industry, and that's all my husband. He is just, we have an engineering team, they create all the equipment, it's all blue and yellow, it looks like a plant, like it
does.
should, and there's safety, and we follow our operations manager is a huge safety guy, he's a safety officer in the Texas oil rigs, and we just have great people. We have, we build our own equipment, and that is not what it looked like day one, but the vision has grown, and this is the professional level at which we should all operate, right? ISRI teaches us a lot about safety, and we take those best practices. And so, we want people to be safe. We want them to come. It's a little Google-ish, I'll be honest.
It was very,
we do have a gym, and So, and we have a cafeteria and some nice stuff. But we did that work, right? That is we are bootstrap people. Like, I learned how to do a little bit of tiling at the cafe, and my daughter learned to do.
Your work was very nice. The tile work was very impressive.
So we're that kind of family. We try to do a lot with a little. But the vision has evolved, and now with the technology, it's just going to a whole new level. So now we have a process that people can trust, but we also have a product that will help them, and that has been a game changer. I never knew we'd have a product. I knew we had a process that people could responsibly send in the material, participate in the refining and recycling process, and get paid more than someone just coming and buying it for a nickel on the barrelhead. Like, I wanted recyclers, that was my vision, was to have recyclers participate in the processing and refining. We always believe that the recycler owns the vehicle, or they own the catalytic converter. So that they have legal, property rights to that. We're a processor. We're gonna partner with you. We're gonna sit on the same side of the transaction. The more metal we sell for you, the more we get paid, the more you get paid. And that was my vision. But the technology piece, I had a little bit of a vision to get it started, but I had no idea that we could take that platform and put tools right into people's businesses to help manage inventory. So the first release is for the bid tool, and that helps them when they're buying over the scales or and then the next product comes in, and it's an inventory management tool where a manager who has multi-facilities can see the dismantlers or the scale guys building boxes. They can see their digital twin on their desk, and those will price twice a day in live markets. And so you could be running a 1 yard facility or a multi-yard facility and have complete control, and then we'll track it all the way through the refining process, and you can see that on your desktop. So the vision is great. It's a Microsoft kind of vision, and that gets me excited. But I don't think I could have done it. It's really, we have a great team with vision that has taken it to the next level.
That's pretty incredible. I mean, talking about digital twins, talking about, digitizing essentially scrap metal industry.
Yeah, yeah. Responsible sourcing.
Responsible sourcing. I mean,
we may as well just go blockchain next.
I feel like you're about to say crypto. The next,
digital wallet.
Yeah. We're probably not there yet. We're.
But the vision is there.
No.
And I think, so it's the Internet 4.0 of things. That is where Cole is making a smart warehouse, and his team, and they're making smart products. We wanted to give recyclers the iPhone when they didn't know they wanted it.
Yes.
And then we want to make it so easy to use that it provides so much value. And the way you get that is by working with us. So it is a bit of a captive, but it's a partnership.
Absolutely.
And the people have contributed to helping. I have to say that the people who have helped us in the past year to really get the converters in and really map them, they're true partners. And they're great. And we couldn't have done it without them.
The ERP systems that are out there, I think merging with those or providing those types of software programs to the yards, to the people that are buying these types of products, I think the software that you're providing, those types of SaaS products are going to be game changers for the recycling industry, because a lot of productivity issues have arisen from essentially time management issues, having to try and track and manage and follow the commodity markets, but then also you have to manage the operations in your yard. And to your point, is that cat going to be a $700 one or a $300 one that's coming in? And how many VINs are out there? We sell 15, 16, 17 million cars a year?
Yes.
In just the US alone?
10 million cars come off the road, and that's about 20 million catalytic converters. The thing is, Jennifer, we realize that the catalytic converter commodity sale, the PGM sale, is not a huge part of what automotive recyclers and scrap metal recyclers do. So that's where integrations become really important. So we already have companies like ScrapRite that we're partnering with to make sure that if you're using that as your operating system, you can also be our supplier and see the data you want to see where you're working daily. We don't want you to have to go to a standalone system. So VinMatch Pro, some of the other ones, Crush software, we're integrating so that recyclers can use our tools where they're already working. So integrations are huge. And besides Cole's team, we have a wonderful software development company that works with us, and really they're top notch. They're used to doing things at Fortune 100 company levels, so they're bringing an amazing user experience to what we're doing.
I had the fortunate.
Did you meet?
Yes, I met at least one member again
the
from
software
the
development team.
Yes,
Yeah.
last night from the Young Executives, and it was pretty cool to see those individuals again get interested in our industry.
Yes.
It's
and he's a young professional running a company, right?
Yes.
So yeah.
It's exciting to see, and every year there's more and more technology companies at these types of events, and I love to see it. It's cool to see those types of individuals coming to our industry and providing these types of solutions and really getting invested.
I met two founders last night, one at Women in Recycling and one at the after party, both in startups, both co-founders of marketplaces or battery exchanges, and it gets me excited. Yeah. At 55, to meet another young founder, I'm like, yes, this is great. There's hope for, our industry is evolving, and it's becoming dynamic. Maybe it's always been dynamic, but it's a lot cooler than it was. So you've bet your career on it.
Yeah. Well done. Well done. So knowing what you know now, do you have any advice for those younger founders getting into, or those individuals interested in our industry or wanting to get into our industry?
Yeah, I think if you come to ISRI or any of our industry associations events, you're going to find two kinds of people. You're going to find very successful people within large companies that have been intrapreneurs. So they're company founders, they may be public or private, have given a lot of people phenomenal careers, right? They've been able to make great livings and provide for their families. And then I've met a lot of founders that are doing the same in their own right. And I would say it's always too soon to quit. last year for automotive catalysts, we had a shrinkage in our supply of like 50 to 70% for various reasons. So people holding on to vehicles longer post-COVID because you didn't put a lot of miles on your car. Interest rates have gone up, so people don't really want to go out and buy a new car at 8 or 9%. And so we see that, and then the PGM prices have come down from their historic highs, and that price has been cut over 50, 60%. So some independents are holding inventory. So we took a hard hit in our side of the business, and I can just say maybe it's the worst year in 33, the past year, but it's always too soon to quit. We know in 33 it will come back.
Yes.
So weathering a storm, so it's always too soon to quit. You're going to see years of abundance. You're going to see lean times. You just have to have that, that persistence to stick through.
Absolutely.
And it's never easy. You just look like a 30-year, overnight success, but it's been hard the whole way.
There absolutely is no overnight success. It's just when those people have found you. Mm-hmm. Nobody sees all the work that you've put in.
Nope.
It's just when they actually tend to see your success.
Yeah.
Because of course, like when you're putting in all the hours, the work, the whatnot, they don't see that.
Nope. In 2012, I was running around with an iPad with a Prezi presentation, trying to get digital appointments for people to meet me in the cafeteria to talk about selling on assay versus selling for cash or by the piece. And now the adoption is higher, but it's still, a struggle to get people onto that model. But yeah, you can't give up.
No.
You have to, keep on.
Yeah, it really is. And I firmly believe that if you can make it in the downturns, think about the success you can have when the market turns around.
Yeah. And John Maxwell says in his 21 irrefutable laws of leadership, there's the law of the lid is like the first one. And the other thing is you can only lead at, people are only going to follow you. If you're a 5 in leadership, you're only going to attract 4s and under. So if you're not committed to growing and learning, like I feel like I'm a constant learner, and maybe I drive my team a little crazy, but you've got to surround yourself with people who are good. You've got to put thoroughbreds in the barn. You've got to have people that are better than you in some ways, that are diverse and different from you. You don't want all yes people around you. You got to build a good team. It's like team of rivals sometimes, but you've got to have that. I haven't always done any of this well, but you've got to commit to grow, because people are going to want to follow, someone that they can grow with and lead with, and you don't always do it right. You don't get up every day and do everything right.
No. You
make a lot of mistakes, and as long as you learn from them, you look at them as learning moments, you give grace to your team when they have learning you have to we're just humans. Everybody gets up and goes and does a job because they want to provide, they have goals, they want to provide for a family, they have things they want to achieve. And so I hope we allow people to do that, but just remember, they're not there to serve you, you're there to serve them.
Yes.
If we can take care of our team, they can take care of our customers.
Completely agree. I always forget who this quote is attributed to, but it's something along the lines of, if you don't fail at least every now and then, you're not trying hard enough. Something along those lines.
There's a lot. Jeff Bezos, people say fall fast. John Maxwell, a lot of them fail fast.
Yeah.
All those quotes, but right. I do love a good quote.
Right, there's something along those lines where if you're never at least like messing up every now and then, like you're not pushing yourself.
And if your failures aren't getting bigger, you're not in the in the right game. You're not hitting it. You're not going forward.
Yes.
I think that was Jeff Bezos with Amazon. He's like, I think he said that it's like, and if your failures aren't getting bigger, you're not doing it right.
That
makes me feel good.
Yeah, that's so great.
Life is hard, and I'm going to just go back to being women. Women, we have multiple lives. We enter the workforce, we exit the workforce, we have children, we do different things. We're pinch hitters.
Yes.
We rise up to the plate and we help do whatever the family needs.
Yeah.
And so in many ways, our lives are very different in work. But I'm an equal opportunity kind of feminist. I like being a woman, but I'm just not made the way men are made, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
There's been many a times that I've had a boss challenge me that I've gone in a restroom and cried because I don't have that skin. Yeah. I'm not made like that, and that's okay. That empathy helps in lots of other ways. So I think you learn a lot.
Yes. It absolutely does. And I do have to say, because we saw each other at the Women in Recycling event last night,
Yeah.
there were so many people there.
Men
last
and
night.
women.
Exactly.
That also makes me very happy.
Yes. It was probably the largest event that I saw in terms of that particular reception at any ISRI event to date.
Yeah.
And it makes me look really positive towards the future of this industry, because to me that shows that we are pulling more and more individuals into our industry, and it means that we have a very positive future. Companies like yourself are pulling in individuals because of the technology, the upgrades. You're looking forward, you're developing new things, you're thinking outside of the box. It's pretty incredible.
And then the partners you find along the way in this industry that want to help you grow, they're also visionary, right?
Yes.
You know, Brett that you work with, he's visionary, right? You guys have come together and look what you're creating. You're creating something that hadn't been here before.
Yes.
And, you know, and I think like finds like, you know, and then that's how you grow and expand.
Yes.
People come alongside you and they partner with you and they give you loyalty and you give them loyalty. And
Yes.
you can't do it alone, I know that.
No, absolutely. And there are a lot of people that are very supportive in this industry. So if you're listening out there, if you're watching, join us.
Yes.
Come to the metals, the recycling world.
Yes. We're the cool kids.
We're so fun. I do have to say, we have some of the bigger toys out here as I'm like looking at some of the large equipment in the background.
Yes. You want to find a good recycler, go to the equipment.
Yes, all the equipment.
They'll all be spending money at the equipment.
Yes, exactly. Well, I know you've got a pretty busy schedule, but I just want to say thank you so much, Becky, for taking a few minutes out of your schedule. It's been really great catching up with you. If you want to get a hold of Becky, find her on LinkedIn, visit her website. Her company is really incredible. They're doing impressive things in the industry, recycling. Thank you again.
No, thanks for doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
You're a busy woman and mother, and I mean, you're always leaving California to travel and go on location and really bring the news, and I love that. Thank you. I am a follower. So if you're not betting on the future and following Jennifer Betts, you get on LinkedIn and you follow her social media feeds, and Brett, Scrap Life. And what is your newsletter? I know I'm just plugging, but 360?
Recycle 360.
Yeah.
Yep. Thank you.
Yeah, we're tracking. Thanks for having us.
Thank you, Becky.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
Awesome. Thanks.